North London derby's over now. A momentous win for Arsenal, 4-2, like an old sort of school match like the ones you were involved in, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, what pleased me the most was how the players were backing each other up when it came to a little skirmish, little fracas. They were all there backing up the mate, and that hasn't always happened in recent years. And it was what we had under George Graham, that togetherness, that fighting spirit, and you need that in a long, tough campaign in the Premier League. You need to have that steel, that bit of feistiness about you. So as well as all the good football, the magnificent goals from Aubameyang, Lacazette, it was probably that above everything else that pleased me about the game.
That sort of fighting spirit and competitiveness, does that come down from the manager?
Yeah,
That's what Unai Emery has put into them.
exactly. It's a, most teams are a reflection of the managers, what that manager wants, and he's clearly instilled that. We can argue that they aren't particularly better placed than they were under Arsene Wenger this time last year, points wise, but it's just that atmosphere within the team and within the club, within that ground. We've had two brilliant games at the Emirates this season now, haven't we? With Liverpool, where the atmosphere was really rocking, and it's gone up a notch further yesterday against Tottenham, and the fans are playing a big part these days.
One of the things that Unai Emery seems to do that Arsene Wenger never did was make decisive and quick changes. He made double substitution at half time.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on that?
Yeah. It was a funny one because when he was asked afterwards, he wouldn't really put his finger on it. He wouldn't say like Iwobi or Mkhitaryan were disappointed. He just said we needed to change something. So it's almost, well, let's just mix it up and put those two lads on. I'm sure there was more to it than that from a tactical standpoint or whatever, but he is decisive in his decision making, which it hasn't happened for the last few years, and again that's a breath of fresh air.
One of those players who came on and made a difference was Aaron Ramsey, who the club have said can leave at the end of the season. But a lot of Arsenal fans and sort of pundits are saying that perhaps he's doing enough to earn a new contract. Do you think he's the sort of player that Arsenal would need to keep?
You'd love to keep him. You'd hate to see him go. Who knows what's behind Arsenal's decision to withdraw the contract offer? But it will be a shame if he goes because he's got Arsenal in his blood now. He performs on the big occasion. He's obviously scored goals on the big stage, FA Cup finals and what have you. And he's a little bit different to the other midfielders in the squad. So it's a shame. It might be a financial thing in that, Arsenal's wage bill is quite high, and if we give him that amount of money, Unai Emery can't afford to bring in another player and offer him decent wages. I don't know, but when he comes on and he does what he did, you just don't want to let a player like that go.
What are your views on another midfielder, Lucas Torreira, a new player who seems to, Martin Keown, your teammate, said he's the new Patrick Vieira. Different sort of size player, but...
Yeah, I mean, totally different in style, but I think just his attitude to the game. Talking to people at Arsenal, they say he's so easy to deal with, he's so uncomplicated, he comes into training, does his job, never a bit of trouble, never moans, and his attitude spot on every day. And obviously it is on a match day, and he loves the fight. Yeah, of course, that midfield has been crying out for that for a number of years, so it's great to see him in action now.
This long unbeaten run, obviously now under threat when they go to Man United on Wednesday, but probably without Mesut Ozil, the best paid player at the club, rather. Where do you think his future lies for under Emery?
Well, that is kind of a side story, isn't it, to the whole Unai Emery era now. That how do you deal with that? Arsenal couldn't have played in the manner that they did against Tottenham, I don't think, with Mesut Ozil in the side. So it's a massive problem. A player on huge wages. Players on huge wages are notoriously difficult to shift because they can't get the same anywhere else. At the moment, he seems to be playing hardball. Whether Mesut had a back spasm, whatever, we don't know, but he's dropped him in the past. So how that pans out, it's a problem he could do without. That's the short and sweet of it. It's something that I'm sure Unai Emery would prefer to have not had in his inbox in these first few months.
Also close to home, he's now discovered what the atmosphere is like at a North London derby. Tottenham was saying that they were the best team in London before. beforehand. How do you see that rivalry between Arsenal and Tottenham panning out this season for the world? Who's going to finish on top this season?
Good question. I mean, going into the game, you would say that Tottenham was still ahead in terms of where they were as a team. The gap had definitely narrowed. Now, has it closed up altogether? I mean, we'll see at the end of the season. Spurs will be really disappointed with how things panned out in that second half because there wasn't a reaction. But maybe that game against Inter Milan had an effect. They're still a very good team. Arsenal have still got lots of work to do under the new manager. Pochettino is kind of he's over it more, isn't he? But definitely, yeah, it's a much closer contest now.
Do you think they both need to recruit more players to catch up with the top one, top two?
Certainly the top one, Man City, they're on another level entirely, and you could just see them accelerating away as we go into the new year, which would be a shame. But yeah, that they are different gravy, and the other clubs have got a lot of work to do to catch up with them to get on that level.
Just finally out, the momentum from this victory over Tottenham and going unbeaten so long, does that mean Arsenal are proper challengers for a top four finish in Emery's first season?
They're definitely challengers, you can't deny them that. I always thought it would be difficult to finish in that top four, but you know, I commentated on the Chelsea game against Fulham, and you're thinking, I don't know, how much better are Chelsea than Arsenal? We've spoken about Spurs. That there's a chance for Arsenal there if they can keep things together, if they can plug those gaps in a leaky defence up until now. Certainly not against Tottenham, it wasn't at times. But yeah, if they can tighten things up, why couldn't they push for a top four place? And in his first year, that'd be a great achievement.